Start the webinar. Okay, it started.
Hi, Vijay.
Hey, hi, hi, Roshan.
Hi, Vijay. How are you?
Good. So we'll just add everybody in, everybody that's in the waiting list, I guess, or anybody there.
Vijay, your audio is not very clear, yeah?
Is my audio not clear?
And now it's better.
Okay. Okay. So let's just send a link out to everybody. Daryl, are you there?
Yes, Vijay. Yeah.
Okay. Can you just send a note to all the, just a reminder, because some people might have potentially been waiting,
Yeah.
or if they left, they can come back.
Yes, I'll send that out. Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Hope you can hear us. Where unfortunately, because of time zones, we had some issue with starting a little late here, but we're definitely excited to talk to all of you. But give us maybe another minute, just because we had some issues starting up. We'll give people a minute more to join in, and then we will get started. So my colleague Daryl was going to just send an just ping everybody and once, and just let them know that we have started.
Thanks, Vijay.
And as we want to keep this very conversational. So if anybody has any questions, please feel free to use the Q&A in the middle of the screen. That can you can use that for questions. And then towards the end, we'll open it up for questions to everybody as well, and we can actually take questions, individual questions as well. Okay, so I, I, I think we'll give a few more seconds. Daryl, did you send that out? Like the note out?
Yes, yeah, it's done.
Okay. Okay. Thanks. We'll, if anybody just join in, we'll start with some introductions. Roshan, you want to go introduce
Sure,
yourself?
sure,
You're well
sure, sure.
known to a lot of people already, but for those of them who don't know you, if you could
Hi.
introduce yourself.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to this Ask Me Anything. For those of you who are not familiar, it's essentially a platform where, whenever someone's doing an IEO, you can engage directly with the founders, ask them anything that's on your mind, and, it gives us an opportunity to connect one-on-one with, the participants and kind of understand what they're looking for, and how we can improve the offering. Quick background: my name is Roshan De Silva. I am a graduate of IIT Bombay. I'm the founder of a company called Trip Villas, which is one of the leading vacation home management companies. We manage about 3,000 vacation homes in the Asian region, in addition to being the primary source of income for more than 50,000 other vacation homes, which are not managed by us, but essentially use our software and tools to generate income from their vacation properties. I would consider myself an expert in international real estate, both on the development side as well as on the management, upkeep, and things like that.
Thank you,
Vijay,
Roshan. And my name is Vijay Thomas. I am a co-founder of Foho Coin, Foho Holdings. Now, I'll give you a little background about myself and how we kind of reached here. I run, as part of my day job, I run a software company, a services company called Tangentia. We're headquartered in Toronto, Canada, where I am based right now as well. We have operations in India, US, and Canada. And in India, we're based out of Goa. We service 12 Fortune 500 customers. So we deal with a lot of very large companies like Suncor, which is the largest oil company in Canada. Reliance Retail in India is one of our customers. So that's what I do. As for the last 17 years, that's the company that I've been running. So we've been quite profitable, as well as growth oriented. So we've been on Profit 500 fastest growing companies in Canada 6 years in a row. We've been on the Inc. 5000 fastest growing companies in the US. So we've hit some high notes. I also run a small venture capital company where we invest in some other companies. And one of the companies that we invested in, we started off, was a company called Poho, which is the legacy to what we are doing right now. So in 2019, Poho India Private Limited started operations in Goa, and we looked at properties in India, which we broke down into fractions of 10, 12, and we thought we were democratizing real estate. We really thought that we can solve the problem people not being able to afford real estate, and what we did was we took places where you could actually time with ownership. So that was probably the best way to define what we were doing in 2019. Now, come 2021, earlier this year, I ran into Roshan, and Roshan was doing his Tripwilla stuff, and then Roshan was also looking at how he could get into fractional. And I said, hey, we're already in fractional. And then we put our heads together and said, what can we do to really take this to next level? And then we decided blockchain was what is the future of fractional real estate. And that's how the fourcoin.com, Four Holdings came together. So Four Holdings is a joint venture between Tangential and Tripwillas. And so that's how this thing started off. So we have a legacy fractional ownership business already, and this is now taking it to the next level. So with that, Roshan, if you had something to say, if not, we're going to run through a quick presentation. Roshan, anything else you want to add to the?
No, I think let's run through the presentation, and then that gives us enough time to engage with people, because they'll get questions as they listen to it.
Okay, fantastic. Daryl, you might want to make me co-host, please. It's disabled sharing, please.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so if all of you can see this, Fohocoin, the future of shared real estate. So what is it all about? NFT, escrow, blockchain, staking, sponsor, buyer, seller. So the whole 9 yards. It is a whole system, a whole ecosystem, and you will know more. Key element, the IEO. Okay, I'm sorry about that. So what are the components of the Foho ecosystem? The first one is the Foho coin. Now, this is something that the IEO is going to launch. This is a utility token. It's the lifeblood of the Foho ecosystem. So you buy the Foho coin, and with the Foho coin, you can then participate in the other components of the Foho ecosystem, which is the Foho.house, Foho.club, and the Foho.work. Right? The Foho coin is, I give the example of, if you go to a Mela in India, you go to a Mela in Rajasthan or somewhere, at the gates of the Mela, they will sell you some tokens, coupons, right? And then you can use those coupons to go on the Ferris wheel, to play games, to exchange for meals. You can do a bunch of things with those coupons. Similarly, with Foho coin, you can then participate in Foho.house, Foho.club, and Foho.work. So what is Foho.house? Foho.house is blockchain-based residential real estate marketplace where people can put their properties. Multiple people can go and buy. So to give you an example, through Foho.house, you can buy 1/10,000 of a New York apartment overlooking Central Park, which costs $2 million, but 1/10,000 of that is only $200. So you can that Indian citizens are eligible to buy in the US. Indian citizens are eligible to buy in lots of places in the world, and vice versa. So in Foho.house, we definitely will check if you are eligible to buy. you might not be eligible to buy. Let's say somebody says something in Kashmir, now you're allowed, before you were not allowed. You might not be allowed to buy in Pakistan, you might not be allowed to buy in China, or vice versa. In India, foreign nationals are not allowed to buy agricultural property. So those are limitations, and the platform will open up the properties that you're eligible for only. So we know those, all that background will be taken care of. And Roshan, if you want to add a little more color on House, how the system works, how the
Yes.
buying selling would work, how the sponsorship,
Yes.
if you can.
Essentially, what I would like to summarize is that you have four house and FOHO work, which essentially are meant for residential and commercial properties, and to buy ownership in these assets, which essentially you profit from by either the yield or else from the appreciation of value on the underlying property. The FOHO.club is essentially where you buy to use the property, and we are unique in the sense that we have segregated usage and ownership. So, when you buy a property for investment, you're very clear that, you're not staying there. You want to get the maximum yield from it. And other owners cannot also stay there. So, they also don't get to dilute your earnings. On the usage side, you may want to always use things which are close to you or in a destination which is uh, a short distance from where you live. And so you can choose to only participate in those clubs. So, FOHO really gives you the best of both worlds because you can choose to invest in the most lucrative real estate, and you can choose to also use the properties which are most convenient for you.
Yeah. So similarly, and I'll give you some examples of for work. For work, if you want to buy, an office space in Mumbai, people can get together, buy office space in Mumbai. If you have a warehouse in Pune, people can join together, buy a warehouse in Pune, which is then leased to let's say Amazon. You can also anything can be there. A bunch of people can get together and buy a cell phone tower. And cell phone towers, those of you who know this, will know it pays a lot of yield. A lot of the global pension funds are buying cell phone towers because cell phone towers will continue. So you can open up different opportunities for people to buy. Now, what is the difference with FOHO.club? FOHO.club is different from FOHO House and FOHO.work in the sense it is not about ownership, it is about usage. So the example I give is, let's say 20 people in Mumbai travel to Dubai very often. So they decide in Dubai, rather than we go and we stay in a hotel or we do Airbnb, we will all 20 of us get together and rent a villa in the Palm Jumeirah villas, right? So they buy one of the villas in Palm Jumeirah. They all together get together through the FOHO club blockchain. They do the rental. They then have a system of usage, and since it's all decentralized, all of it can be managed. Rents can be managed, usage can be managed, and at the end of, let's say, a year or the period of the club, the club decides either to continue. Some people can drop off, new people can come in, they can change the rules, create a new club. But basically, multiple people can share usage of a rental property. So, FOHO.club is very similar to timeshare. It's rental. Okay, you don't own anything. So, FOHO.house and FOHO.work is ownership. FOHO.club is usage, and this is kept separate. So anything, anybody, if there's any questions, please send it to the Q&A thing, and we'll try to answer them as we go through, or we will answer them at the end. So absolutely democratizing the real estate space. If 10,000 fractions for a unit, as we said, for $200, you can buy real estate on Fifth Avenue overlooking Central Park. Why not? You're staying on the same street as Donald Trump. Yes, you can, right? This is truly democratizing it. You can, possibly buy in NCPA an apartment, which today is unheard of. You can probably not be able to do that, but through a fractional route, people can do it. So, so what's stopping you from having a home in your dream destination? Investing in real estate is definitely an expensive affair. Think of any place in the world that you want to live in. It's probably expensive. Owning and managing home can be stressful. Due diligence is lengthy process, big risks associated. So also at the bottom of the screen, you will see we have a little bit of a disclaimer. So by purchasing FOCO, you're not purchasing security investment product. Okay, you're actually buying a utility token. As I said, it gives you the entry into the system, but by itself, it is not a token. It is not attached to any value or underlying property. So moving on, again, you can own multiple shared properties. It is a little more detailed into the similar previous slide. So this is one of the properties that we already have on our old FOHO platform. Dusit Thani is a well-known Thai resort brand. They have a property. The property that you see is in Balapitiya in Sri Lanka, and we do have units there already. And these are the units that will be brought onto the new FOHO platform as well. So any of you are looking at owning, so the initial pilot is going to be in India, Sri Lanka, and Canada is where we're going to have our first properties on. And, so stress-free ease of due diligence, democratizing real estate space. Some of the other forward house properties that we already, are on our legacy platform. But again, we're opening this up to anybody to bring their own. We're like the Airbnb of this business. If you have a property that you think is going to appeal to other people, has yield or has capital appreciation, you can bring it to the FOHO platform. So Aldeia de Goa in Bambolim is another property that's already on our platform. To what is the private placement investor looking at? To play in the private placement, to buy directly, you can go to the IEO, go to BitBNS. You can. But for a IEO investor, for a private place investor, the minimum is $25,000. Now, for $25,000, you get a 10% bonus. For between 50,000 and 100,000, you get 15%, and it goes above $500,000. You get 30% bonus. So it's open for everybody. You obviously have to get whitelisted by BitBNS. Because end of the day, the tokens would be available to you in your wallet on BitBNS on day of trading. And say after which, once the tokens are started trading, you can have Uniswap. You can do whatever. We will have a pool on Uniswap as well. So you can do this from anywhere. But initial IEO will be on BitBNS. So what is the steps for a private place investor? Go to the website focoin.com. You can email Roshan or me. Roshan at focoin.com, vijay@focoin.com. Go and enter your details in the form provided at focoin.com, and then you've got to open an account BitBNS and complete KYC. And then if you're an existing user on BitBNS, you're already whitelisted. So Roshan, you want to do this part?
Yeah, sure. So everyone, I thought I'll explain, a little bit on, the coin itself, because, I think most people are a little, with this whole crypto thing, they just feel it's a game or something, and there's no rationale between how the value of the coin goes up or down, etc. So what we've tried to do here is I'll kind of quickly outline it, and this is also present in the white paper. On the left-hand side, it shows you the total supply of the coin. So in the crypto world, before a coin is minted, there's something called a smart contract. And the smart contract, once written, cannot be changed. So which means that, even we as the founders, if we decide that, this is the maximum number of coins that can be there, then, even tomorrow, if we want to change our mind, we can't. Is already enshrined in the smart contract. So if you see the FOFO coin, total supply, and you see the small part, which is the 8.5%, which is the part that's jutting out, which is the IEO portion. So that is the only part which is being issued at the moment. So it's about 8.5%. It's about 85 million tokens out of a total possible supply of a billion tokens. So, basically, and this is important because you need to understand that, the price of the coin fluctuates because of demand and supply. So supply being finite is always a very good thing for an investor. The second thing, so I mean, so approximately, and the second thing that I would like to highlight here is if you look at the IEO portion, it's about the initial IEO, it's about 8.5%, and future token sales is about 40%. So when you add them both together, it means that nearly 48.5% of the total coins are actually issued for cash. This is like akin to saying that that there's essentially there's no premium when you buy into a company because 50% of all shares are issued for cash at the market value. The second chart on the right hand side is essentially shows how is the IEO funds being allocated and what are we spending the money that we are getting etc from the IEO. And you can see that primarily and this is as you may know, demand and supply has a demand side and a supply side. So the supply side, as I mentioned, is finite because there's more than a certain number of coins cannot be minted. It's in the smart contract to verify, etc. Now the other thing is where's the demand? What are we doing to generate the demand, etc. And so see here a large portion, which is nearly more than 50% of the total spend from the IEO funds, is going towards sales and marketing and PR and advertising, which is essentially going to drive the demand of the coin itself. So that should give most investors a very strong comfort because more than 50% of the coins are actually in cash, and then again more than 50% of the total funds are being used to generate demand for to push the value of the coin up. Vijay, do you want to go to the next slide?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. The second one, which I want to show you is, of course, with any IEO, there's always a risk that what happens, to the other 50%, which is essentially being given to people like the founders, the team, technology team, sales and marketing partnerships, etc. So I want to draw your attention to this portion, which is the light blue, and that is essentially the portion which is from token sales in the public round. If you notice that this at the very beginning, it's 90%, 99.99% is actually the token sale. And really the other components, which is actually the airdrops or the team tokens, etc., they become close to 40% towards the end, which means towards about 40 months after the project has kicked off and has listed, etc. This effectively means that the team and all other tokens get released over time. So what that means is that, like, let's say someone like Vijay or myself, etc., or the other team members, etc., we only get our tokens once the project has become fairly successful and a certain amount of time has gone by. And initially, a large component of the total tokens are actually being held only by people who have participated in the IEO, etc. And those people have a floor. I mean, they can't sell effectively below the 10 cents IEO price because it just doesn't make financial sense because you've kind of invested at 10 cents. So why would you sell at 9 cents or 8 cents? Because, effectively we as itself would buy back because, it would mean that we're getting the 2 cents for free. So this should give again a lot of comfort knowing that, the team is really committed. If we have agreed to, sort of put most of our tokens on a very, very delayed vesting. And if you see the vesting kind of comes in over a 40-month period and majority of it is after the 36-month period. We also have decided that about 25% of all fees generated by the platform will be used to buy back tokens. And that will again put an upward pressure on the price of the coins, etc. And it will incentivize the people who have come onto the platform early. So this is again something that, if you look at, if you're an experienced crypto investor, you will find that it's a source of great comfort to most investors across the globe. Vijay, do you want to go to the next one? Okay, so we'll go through. Vijay, do you want me to take this?
Yeah, so I can, yeah, go ahead, please. And I'll
Yeah.
chime in if need be.
Yeah, sure. So we just want to give you a little bit of the history and a little bit of our future roadmap. So essentially, Poho launched in July 2019, in Goa with properties in, the holiday spots in India, Sri Lanka, etc. It was one of the most well-received products at the Vibrant Goa Global Entrepreneurship Summit in 2019. And we essentially as Trip Pillars came late to the party. We discovered Foho a little late, and we found that it was very strategic. And that's when we decided to, get together with Vijay, take a certain ownership stake, and then revamp the entire platform to really put it on the blockchain and on the platform for the future, as we call it. A little bit of the future roadmap. The IEO closes towards end of July, and we have decided that the trading will commence on the 15th of August, which essentially means it's essentially bringing freedom to real estate investing, and it's especially for Indians, because me and Vijay are both of Indian origin. It essentially signifies independence and freedom, and it gives people who hold the Foho coin the freedom to then participate in investment opportunities from across the globe, which we believe offers a lot of opportunity for yield, capital appreciation, etc., etc. By October 2021, it's our commitment that the Foho Club, Foho House, and the app, etc., will launch. And by November 2021, we will have the Foho coin accepted on other partner websites like Trip Villas, etc. And we intend to complete other additional token sales after all of this in December 2021 at a higher price on the market, based on market ratings, etc. Vijay, do you want to go to the next slide?
Yeah. Sorry. So I can take this one. Okay, so
Sure.
basically this is the part where people said what's next for Foho, right? And what are we doing right now? So the first pilot that we are doing is in India, Canada, Sri Lanka. Again, India and Sri Lanka is because we had already started there. We had our legacy business there. We already understood how real estate works in those areas. So we're going to be working there. So that's our initial pilot. As we go along, we don't have a timeline on when the other ones are going to happen, but those are where the monies that are going to be spent, and what we see size of operation. We see, if you look at size of operation, India is a large market, Europe is a large market, North America is a large market, the Indian Ocean, Pacific, Southeast Asia is also fairly big markets, but you can see that the bulk of it is going to be Europe, North America, and India. Now, we have not decided exactly. It would be, improper for us to say that we know everything exactly how things are going to play out. But this is how we see it unfolding. But we will take the call on which of these markets are going to be gone after next. And as we decide that, we will then those coins for those marketplaces, and those will be issued at market rates. So only now at IEO time are you going to get it at 10 cents, right? After which it's going to be market rate. So we are going to issue the coins. It will be at market, so people will buy it at market rate, and it is going to fund our expansion in these geographies. So that is, I think, the idea here, and I think. Is there anything else, Roshan, that you wanted to add to this?
Yes, I mean, just wanted to share with everyone that, as we've launched and made the announcements over the past 1 month, we've been approached by so many governments and so many real estate developers, saying that, hey, we want to participate. And this is obviously because, we are at a time of great opportunity because, especially in the tourism sector, a lot of economies, especially the small island countries, etc., have been badly hit because of the drop in tourism, and they are giving the red carpet for investors to come and invest into their countries because they feel that that is key to reviving jobs and reviving the economy, etc. So we're seeing great opportunities coming to us from the Caribbean, the Indian Ocean, Dubai, the Saudi Arabia, lots of interesting countries, and we are being, of course, very, very diligent. We're trying to understand, what they are proposing, and how we can ensure that our investors know the best deal for their money.
Okay, thanks, Roshan. So with that out of the way, we'll just go to the next slide here. So this is again a little bit about Roshan and myself. As I was mentioning in the beginning, some of you have joined up late. I'm the founder and CEO of Tangentia. We're a digital transformation company. We do a lot of work in services, software services around artificial intelligence, robotic process automation, supply chain. We have at least 15 Fortune 500 customers, customers like Suncor, Whirlpool. Suncor is the largest oil and gas company in Canada, Reliance Retail in India. So we've got some real marquee accounts that we work with. I started this company from a one-bedroom condominium in Toronto. So we're around 200 people now worldwide. We've also hit a few high notes. We've been on the Profit 500 fastest growing companies in Canada 6 years in a row. We've been on Inc. 5000 fastest growing companies in the US. I was also involved quite a bit in the India-Canada corridor. I was the 32nd president of the Indo-Canada Chamber of Commerce, and also on the board of TIE Toronto. And I've lived in different parts of the world, and now do call Toronto home. And on my right on the screen is Roshan. Roshan's going to introduce himself again. Roshan.
Yeah, sure. So, guys, my background is essentially in the technology space. I graduated from IIT Bombay with a degree in electrical engineering in the year 2000. For the past 10 years, which is a significant portion of my life, I've essentially been building Trip Villas, which is a specialist in the management and marketing of vacation homes. And so really a lot of my expertise is in the management, creation, marketing of vacation homes, and then the nature of the vacation home industry is that it's spread across the globe, and yield is driven by something exotic, something beautiful, and so it's been a great experience, and we hope to bring a lot of those learnings to the FOFO platform, etc., and to really find great deals, find yield, and to partner with the ethical and honest real estate developers and sellers from across the globe to in a win-win manner. We'll take some questions now, Vijay. I think I can see some.
Yeah, we have
interesting.
some questions that have already come in there. Yeah. So some of the other people on the board, Chandan Kumar, some of you might know him. He's a consultant with BitBNS. He's also an expert in cryptocurrency. Jason Fernandez is entrepreneur, speaker, blockchain industry figure. He's invented the world's first internet-based DVR, and also he's featured. Those of you in crypto, he has a lot of followers as well. Know about him. Floyd is our marketing person and marketing, helping us with marketing. So that is it, and we'll actually go to questions now. I will open it up for people. If you have any questions, please raise your hand, and we'll let you in and get you on the panel, and we'll like to speak to you. But also, there are questions that have already started coming in, so we will take those in.
Please feel free also, if you'd like to ask your questions live, then we
Yes.
can also kind of just make you a moderator. But we'll take the questions that
Yeah.
have already come in. So feel free to either put your your questions in or raise your hand if you want to ask your question live. Vijay, the first question, I mean, if you want to do this, is essentially around how many private investors we have gathered and what's the amount we've been able to capture. I think that figure per se is confidential, Siddhant, but we've already gone past, I think, more than the commitments are slightly above our soft cap. So we are
Yes.
already, we are already above the soft cap hurdle already.
Yes. So I guess where the soft caps already met just through private placement. So I think through commitments at least, we've not all of it. It takes some time for everything to come through, but we've got commitments to at least cross the soft cap. So which really means that the train is going to leave the station. So I think that's the to everybody out there, the train will leave the station, right?
Yeah.
So I think and there's a couple more questions. Go ahead.
Yeah.
You want to take the next one?
Yeah. So then the second one is on the regulatory issues related to fractional ownership, FEMA, and we are talking about properties from outside India at the moment. So we're talking about both properties from India as well as overseas. So, essentially, as we mentioned that on the FOHO platform, you have to be KYC'd and whitelisted. And so we have detailed information about, your citizenship, residency, etc. So, you will only be able to invest if you're eligible to invest in those properties. So, we don't
And as
anticipate
an
any.
Indian citizen, basically we're focusing on the world as a market, but as an Indian citizen, you are eligible to buy properties worldwide as well. There is nothing stopping you. Obviously, even with the Reserve Bank of India guidelines, there is a limit to the amount that you can buy, but the limit is quite high. It is 250,000 or some large amount like that. So it is not from a fractional standpoint, you're definitely not going to be anywhere close to that. So you should be definitely be allowed to buy fractional property. But go ahead, Roshan.
The second one is how will you source the properties? So if you see myself, Vijay, we are already very, very well connected. We are part of, a lot of the property management associations. We are shortly going to announce our real estate advisors on the board, who are all big names in the real estate space. So if you see the present advisors we've announced, they're mostly from the crypto space, but the ones that we are announcing shortly, are essentially from the real estate space. So we've been able to get a lot of great people with a great Rolodex, etc., involved. If you want to see some of the research, you can see that for Triple itself, we have had a website called the Holiday Home Times, so you can go and check it out on holidayhometime.com. And I don't think for the past, there's no other website where over the past 10 years we've been tracking global real estate and the laws, the regulations, the real estate developers, etc. In one location. So we have the research team, and we are able to source the properties. Of course, we will engage. The nature of the platform is that every deal requires to have a sponsor. So the sponsor is a local expert. So we only in rare situations expect that we ourselves will be the sponsors. In 9 cases out of 10 will be other people who are sponsors who are well connected in that geography. And then anybody can challenge their assumptions, and kind of due diligence the property in the public space. What happens if a property is not fully subscribed? So essentially, the deal doesn't close. So if the property is not fully subscribed, the capital is fully refunded to all the investors. The property does not get fractionalized. Can the tokens be used to invest in India? Yeah, they can. So I just want to clarify, because the question here is like, can the token be used to invest in India given the current regulatory restrictions? So actually, there are no regulatory restrictions. If you see that the government of India has, even forced HDFC Bank to retract a letter that they had sent out to all people who were investing in crypto, etc. This is because the Indian government themselves have done a U-turn on their outlook towards cryptocurrencies, etc. They've realized that there is a lot of capital that is in this crypto world, and and India being a capital efficient country, they're looking to tap into that. And obviously, every dollar that goes into real estate has a multiplier effect, because it's creating jobs in the construction phase, it's creating jobs at the operations phase, etc. So we don't expect that the Indian government or any other government will take a negative view on real estate, and negative regulations will come in, because overall as a sector, real estate is a very key component of any economy.
Yeah, and again, to use to invest given the current regulatory scenario, absolutely. I mean, we're again, you're going to buy tokens in India already. What we're doing is it's like a concept of a REIT. Okay, this is like a REIT on blockchain, right? So today REIT is already allowed. You can buy a REIT. There are other fractional platforms already available. They're not on blockchain. They are fractional. We already exist in India. They use either a trust, or they use a private limited company to hold to buy the property, and then the people buy shares in that private limited company or in the trust. So very similar to that already exists. Now through the blockchain, you're going to be buying the general ledger of so the ledger of the blockchain participants will become the ledger of shareholders on the trust or the private limited company. So it is definitely, we're not, what people have said is you cannot create your own currency and say, the Indian rupee is gone, we're all going to do this. This is a closed loop system that can be allowed only within the four platforms. So that's basically the difference. So the next one there is, what is the concept of buyback? Buyback is basically, Roshan, you want to give that? I mean, you want to
Yeah,
ask that?
essentially what we have committed to is that 25% of all revenue of the platform will be used to buy back tokens at the market value. So this is basically a big positive for the investors, because keep in mind it's 25% of the revenues and not 25% of the profits, which means that all investors benefit continuously from volume or GMV on the platform. And it incentivizes everyone to who's bringing in a lot of transactions to also buy FOHO coins,
Yeah.
because they know
So
it's
it's,
going
it's
to happen
again,
afterwards.
it's a proof of work thing. So we will buy back the coins and we will give those coins as a bonus to the people who are doing certain work. I mean, so who are actually, so it's not a proof of stake kind of thing, because then it becomes a security. It's a proof of work. So it's you, as you participate, as you do more on the platform, you can then get those coupons given to you. So those four coins given to you, that we are buying back from the market at market rate. So it is almost a cycle where the more prolific users of the platform continue to get benefited more. So it's not anybody that hoards four coin will not make it. People who buy, who list platform properties, buy property, sell property, join clubs, become sponsors, they are the people who are going to gain in the four ecosystem. So that's the thing. So hopefully that answers that question.
Yeah. The next question is from Noel Braggs. It says that basically India being a union of states with laws changing to every state, how do you plan to tackle this hurdle? Um, so essentially that's not an issue. That's part and parcel of what we are prepared for. As you know, that many other businesses, including like my own business, Trip Villas, Airbnb, Uber, they were subject to state laws. Uber, in fact,
No,
is
no, it's
subject
not
to
even
city
state
laws.
laws. Those guys are subject to city laws. I
Yes,
was
yes,
telling Roshan, they
yeah,
they have it even more tougher than us, right?
correct.
We just have state laws.
Yeah,
City, Mumbai, Pune, Nagpur, in Maharashtra will have different rules for taxis. And Uber has survived. Uber has
yeah,
done it. So if Uber can do it, Airbnb can do it. Absolutely, I think we can do it. Sorry,
absolutely.
Roshan.
And essentially, how is it going to be different from the traditional method of real estate? So essentially, the real estate traditional method, it's prone to a lot of misuse and a lot of repetition of documents and forgery, and there's a whole circus that exists there where you cannot really trust a lot of the documents, and this can be edited by multiple people if you're not careful, etc. So there's no way to ensure the integrity of a document, which is a paper document that a seller comes to you with, or even to enforce the contract becomes very difficult depending on this country and the state you're in. So the blockchain really, and the smart contract, that is the biggest benefit in our opinion. It basically ensures that what is written in the contract will get adhered to in a decentralized manner. You're not dependent on a judge. You're not dependent on the other guy being honest. Everything is going to be sort of a smart contract driven, and so is very low cost. Justice is immediate, and lots of those are major benefits of using the blockchain for real estate. This is why we felt as real estate domain experts that the blockchain would be very valuable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now we have
The
another
next,
thing is owning property. They only use a four coin. Like we'll take you back to those three different components of the four ecosystem. One is FOHO.work, which is you can actually buy commercial entities, but that's commercial properties, residential property, FOHO.house, and FOHO.club is where you can participate in clubs that have rental, or it could be even be experiences. Like you could people can get together and buy a scuba diving platform in the Maldives, where all of you go and share it. right? But it's for 1 year, 2 years, or whatever. A club is formed. It's on the blockchain, so you can buy experiences as well. You can usage of multiple things can be done on the club. So and the other part here is we're looking at also utility for the FOHO coin outside of this, but only for club members. Like if you own a FOHO coin, you're a member of the FOHO club. So for beginners, starting August 15th, Trip Villas will allow you to book with FOHO coin. So there's going to be value that goes outside. I see a point at which anything in the travel business, potentially Expedia could potentially use the FOHO coin, because it is ERC20. It is a standard Ethereum based coin. It can potentially be used to other things as well. But right now, our initial thing is going to be within our ecosystem. But there is opportunities for us to possibly take this beyond as well.
So, I mean, the question from Aryan Gupta is, are there any extra benefits for Indian citizens? No, we can't really have that kind of discrimination. The platform's the same for everyone. The owns does for it's from Siddhant Chaudhary. So, I mean, I'll come to Siddhant's question a little later, because I think it's repetitive. The next one we have from an anonymous one, which is, will you put the properties which are managed by you only, or anybody can put properties on the platform? No, anybody can put properties on the platform. It's not only properties which are managed by FOHO. We don't intend to manage any properties. Its intention is to keep ourselves free from any conflict, and attract third-party property managers who will manage the properties, put them on, onto the platform, and then the holders of the token, any one of them can say that, I want to change this property manager. So, for instance, suppose, let's say it's a service department that's managed by OYO, and they're not happy with the OYO performance. You can say that, okay, I want to move to Treebo, and then everyone can vote, and you can just change the property manager from OYO to Treebo. Will your token be used to raise equity, debt capital for greenfield projects? Potentially, yes. The system allows them to do this, but I don't know how attractive our investors will find that, because typically greenfield projects have a long gestation, etc. Maybe Vijay, you can also share with.
Yeah. So again, if it's so we're the platform. So we're not going to raise money for greenfield but let's say you are a builder. You can bring your idea to the platform and say, here is the as Roshan says, your investment thesis, and here is why. So basically, it is almost like an NFT. You're selling tokens for something that's going to happen. Now, for something like that, the due diligence and the guarantees that would be required are going to be quite substantial for people to be buying that. So I don't see that as happening. They would also, we would have to make sure that it ties in with, in India, let's say with RERA and all of those kind of things as well. So this is not a solution to get through compliance. All compliance in every country will have to be met. We're just a platform that allows people to fractionally own it and sell it, and bringing liquidity to the market. In fact, even before we got onto the blockchain platform, Outlook Business, a couple of magazines had written about how we could possibly be the solution to the glut in the Indian apartment market, and possibly builders could, potentially, if you're building a building with, let's say 50 stories, you can say 10 stories are for fractional ownership, and they put those 10 stories, onto the FOHO platform, and people buy it. So another manner or another channel for builders to sell their inventory. Now, somebody talked about, I'll take that question from Siddhant. If you have your own house, you live in it, right? Now, if you live in it and you want to put it on the FOHO platform, you'll have to make sure that you are paying market rates, because people are going to say, that if you put this on the platform and you're only going to pay 10,000 rupees as rent, you will not get people, unless in your thesis you say you're taking care of it so well that it is worth 10,000 only for rent. But there are people, because your neighbor can put his empty apartment on FOHO, and and he is renting it out at 20,000. The yield on his apartment is going to be higher, right? So it is going to be market driven at some point. Initially we might have to help with some market making, but after which it is like Airbnb, right? Airbnb, people can put their apartment at high rates or low rates. Airbnb doesn't decide those things, but once they put those things in there, the lower rate one will get more, depending on your credibility on the platform. If you are a sponsor and your past projects have all delivered, your projects will get more investors. So there is going to be the wisdom of the crowds, the wisdom of the networks that come in. So very similar to Airbnb or Uber or something. So
You want to take this next one, Vijay?
next one is about lock-in period. Okay, go ahead, Roshan.
Yeah, so yes, we have a lock-in period, Siddhant. Essentially the tokens, a large portion of them are locked for close to 6 months. So, there's a 33% only that's unlocked at the within 3 months, and then the rest which are unlocked over a larger period, etc. So, that ensures that, private investors can't, they will only be the people who are long-term committed to the success of the coin, etc. And it's not that they are coming in and and then trying to exit very rapidly. Secondly, keep in mind that we have actually a lot more token sales to happen in the future. So because of that, we are actually incentivized, because the total supply of tokens is fixed. We are actually incentivized to make sure that the price of the token actually moves upwards, because that for the future token sales, we're actually generating more capital, and we are able to do a larger volume of transactions on the platform. I hope you've been able to I've been able to answer that. The next one, I have a question from anonymous as to why I should invest 10% to sell my own property when I actually need fund by selling my property. So I think maybe you may be a little confused about what we mean by this. So when you sell your own property, you don't have to invest 10%. We have a concept of a sponsor. So the sponsors are sort of premium users. You as the seller have to get sponsorship from one of those premium users. So those sponsor, they can't just say that, oh yeah, I'm sponsoring this deal. They have to put in 10% of the total value of their property, and they have to be locked for at least a year. So which means that they can't exit the property for a year post its start trading. So you as a seller, you may exit completely. But if you're offering a deal which is unattractive, I doubt if any of this, because the sponsors are all people who are real estate insiders, very savvy investors, etc. So we don't expect that if your deal, if you're not making it attractive, you will struggle to get sponsorship. So essentially what you will need to do is you will need to maybe also connect offline with some of the sponsors and tell them that say these are my constraints, and I need certain liquidity, I want to sell this property, it's a unique property, and you will be able to do this with it, and that's how that, and then convince them to actually sponsor the deal, invest, upload their investment thesis, and then you have public scrutiny of the sponsor's investment thesis by other people on the platform.
Yeah.
So it has to pass muster.
Yeah, just to add there, you could also be a sponsor. Let's say tomorrow we get Tata Housing, or we get one of the developers we are talking to, that says, I am the seller and I'm also going to be the sponsor, right? So in that case, you have to put in the 10%. Now, why do you have to put in 10%? Because you're putting a property that you can sell it later, but you got to stake it for 1 year. So it is almost like a warranty, a guarantee that we are holding to make sure that you have met all your due diligence. It is a bit of a deposit, if I may call it, that the platform holds. After a year you can off. But if you're not willing to even 10%, then we are saying there is you're not you're you've got to have that much skin in the game to make sure that you are bringing the right properties on board. You're willing to lose unless there is, and then there is also some cost for due diligence and stuff like that, which is over and above that. But
Yeah.
it brings compliance. The fact that there is something at stake from the seller for a period of 12 months provides, from seller or the sponsor, provides comfort to the other buyers. So as we provide comfort to the other buyers, more buyers come on board as well. So it is a system where we've got to make sure that we are making there's a comfort to the buyers as well, that this is not somebody that put something and the papers were not right or whatever. Obviously we are doing our due diligence, but to the seller and the sponsor, there's something at stake for some period as well.
Yeah. So we have another question here, which is who will ensure qualities of service as well as yield? Essentially, there every property gets something called a property manager. The holders of the token decide who is the property manager. So before they make the investment, the seller has proposed property manager. The token holders are free to decide that no, we don't want this property manager because the contract of the property manager is one-sided, not attractive. The revenue sharing is not suitable, etc. And so they can just replace the property manager or go with somebody else. So the property manager is key to this, and he's the one who's ensuring that the property is well maintained, it's delivering the yield, etc., etc. Who will check the legal title and legal status? So essentially, on the deal closure, there is a step called due diligence. So what that means is we have an initial stage, which is the sponsorship stage. At the sponsorship stage, the sponsor has to come in and put in 10%. Then it goes to the public area of the website where other people can subscribe. Once the property is fully subscribed, we as a platform will basically tell the seller that this is the due diligence fee. The due diligence fee, and this is the list of due diligence documents.
And there's two due diligence. One is there's a preliminary due diligence that makes sure that even before it goes public, we will make sure that there is some preliminary due diligence done as well, to making sure that title search, some of those basic things. But obviously, more detailed due diligence will happen on the closing of the thing as well. So there's going to be two steps of due diligence as well, because obviously we don't want a property to close and then we realize that there is there are holes in it.
Yeah, but I mean, I think there's a mention of company there called Strata. I'm not sure who's asked this question, but there's been a large story about in the media about this particular company called Strata and the inherent conflict of interest in that kind of a centralized model, which is one of the reasons why the and y'all can go and look at that yourself. It's not my opinion. It's in the public domain, and that's essentially the reason to have a blockchain based decentralized mechanism where essentially the token holders can vote. They can decide who's going to do the due diligence, who's what are the documents that need to be submitted. They can discuss with each other before making decisions. So the FOHO ecosystem is a more participative ecosystem, which is decentralized. So it does away with with us putting ourselves in a position of conflict.
Yeah. But to start with, I mean, some of the initial ones, it could be Strata. We could use in different geographies. There are different, agencies, like we're using different management companies. We could use different legal firms. Now, it is going to be, as somebody mentioned, a province or state-based, model that we would follow. And absolutely, I mean, it all depends on the level of due diligence that is required to make sure that it passes muster to be open to public. But once it's open to public, after which the wisdom of the crowds takes over, we can get people taking care of that on the platform as well.
Right. The next, I think this is not a question, more of a comment from Noel Braggs. Yes, some who comes from a family with a real estate background, planning to take it to the next level. So we wish you all the best, Noel, in your own journey. Real estate is a fascinating industry. It takes a lot of discipline and a lot of planning, because on our technology businesses, if we want to change a color and it doesn't look good, it's just a line of code. But in the real estate world, if you if you don't plan in advance, if you don't visualize and you don't create great assets, the costs can be significant. So we wish you all the best in your own journey. And if there's anything you feel you can do with FOHO, or we can assist in any way in bringing some of the properties which are exciting to investors, then please reach out to us, to myself or Vijay.
And we have something called as the FOHO Army. So if you go to Twitter, if you go to our Telegram group, we have a bunch of our for want of a term, we'll call them well-wishers, loud well-wishers. We call them the FOHO Army. So we would definitely like to welcome as many of you to please check out our Telegram group, and also to join the FOHO Army. We have some contests as well for people that are interested in memes and stuff like that. So we have some FOHO coin giveaways, airdrops that will come in later as well. So anything like that you might be interested in, please do join. I think there's one last question here we can take. We're at the top of time here, but because we started a little late, we'll take this a few more questions. Are we bound to pay state tax or property tax for fraction? Absolutely. You are bound to pay any and every tax that you have to do. So if you buy a fraction, I'll give you the example of the New York condo. If you bought the full condo at $2 million and you sold it at $4 million, the $2 million that you made is capital gains. Now it depends on you. If you disclose that in India, you pay capital gains in India. If you are paying in the US, you pay capital gains in the US. So you can take a call there and how you want to do that. Now, if you bought 1/10,000 of that fraction, you bought it for $200, you sold it for $400. Now your capital gain is $200. You got to pay that as well. Now there are other taxes, which is property taxes, ongoing, municipal taxes. Now all of those taxes come out of the maintenance, the fund of the property itself. So yield is paid off after paying off the taxes, right? It would be stupid to pay off yield. It's like paying dividend if you out of a loss. So you've got to first make sure that all of those things are paid off, and then there's repair and maintenance. So there's funds for that. There's a model that is already followed. There's a sinking fund model. So again, as a business, Tangential, myself as a real estate investor, Roshan, we've worked in these models. We're also speaking to some experts on best practices that each of these properties should have, right? There is no, if we just take out all the money and pay it off as yield and not have enough there, that could be a downfall as well. So it could be prepaid, sinking fund money in there. So there could be different models that we are following for each property, but we will make sure that, and if it's not there as a platform, our role will be to educate our investors on what to look for. Okay, so these will all be the things that they have to look for. Is there a sinking fund? How much money is in the sinking fund? How much money is in a fund, a what if fund, right? Is an emergency fund. So all of these things will be available thanks to blockchain, will be transparent. Anybody that wants to join in will have access to that. So that is, I think, the beauty of the blockchain and the beauty of investing. It is no longer hidden. It's no longer that you've got to ask somebody for it. You're lucky to see these things. It will all be in the open.
Yeah.
So with that, I think we're I don't know. We've got two more questions.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the question. So I think the bonus on the pre-IO investment, that is the private placement. I think we talked about that here. It is going to be also on multiple exchanges. I will try to share my screen again. Okay, so let me share my screen. So let me go back here. So here's a private placement. So if you invest, between 25,000 USD and 50,000, you get a 10% bonus. Between 50,000, 100,000, 15%. 100,000, 250,000, 20%. 250 to 500,000, 25%. Greater than USD 500,000, you get a 30%. Again, where this is only for the private placement, and if you take the, if you can take the private placement without the bonus. If you take it without the bonus, you get full liquidity, okay, upfront. But if you take it with the bonus, then there's going to be 25% release with the private public IEO and 75% release 3 months later. So there is a lock-in for if you're taking the bonus. So hope that answers the question, and we've got that in. So I don't know, Mr. or Mrs. Anonymous, if you're in there, I hope you're answering a question. And this is where the coins are going to be used up as well. Okay, so hope that answers everybody's question. I don't see any more open questions. So I like to thank everybody for making time, and really appreciate all of you for supporting us in this endeavor. We look forward. We've got a lot of interest from developers, from investors. Those of you who might know of strategic investors looking to invest, we're open to them. I was going to hint at saying, if any of you know Shah Rukh Khan and he wants to do the next big investment after Byju's, send him our way. We're willing to talk to him. So thank you very much, guys. Roshan, any last words?
Yeah, thank you everyone for attending. I see quite a few real estate insiders here. Like I can see Jatin, Subramaniam, etc. So, we look forward to engaging with you even on interesting deals, because, you guys have got your ear to the ground. You're able to find the best deal because of your networks, etc. And we really want the best deals to come onto the FOHO platform. So we look forward to working with you on a long-term basis and, really getting some fantastic properties onto the platform. Thank you everyone for taking the time. I know it's late in India, and good night. Thank you everyone.
Good night. Thank you. Bye.